This is Monster by Walter Dean Myers, page 115. Notes. I've never seen my father cry before. He wasn't crying like I thought a man would cry. Everything was just pouring out of him, and I hated to see his face. What did I do? What did I do? Anybody can walk into a drugstore and look around. Is that what I'm on trial for? I didn't do nothing. I didn't do nothing, but everybody's just messed up with the pain. I didn't fight with Mr. Nesbitt. I didn't take any money from him. Seeing my dad cry like that was just so terrible. What was going on between us, me being his son and him being my dad, is pushed down and something else is moving up in its place. It's like a man looking down to see his son and seeing a monster instead. Miss O'Brien said things were going bad for us because she was afraid that the jury wouldn't see a difference between me and all the bad guys taking the stand. I think my dad thinks the same thing. Fade in, exterior, Steve's neighborhood, camera pans. Homeless men have built a cardboard village on rooftops. Then to edge of roof, where we see a crowd in the street below. As camera zooms in, we pick up a cacophony of sounds. Gradually, one sound becomes clearer. The accent is West Indian, and a ground level camera comes up on two dark, somewhat heavy and middle aged women. Woman 1, I think it's a shame, a terrible shame. Woman 2, what happened? Cut to Steve. He is holding a basketball and is within earshot of the two women. Woman 1, they stick up the drugstore and shot the poor man. Woman 2, oh, these guns. Is he all right? Woman 1, the stripper say he dead. They had two ambulances. Woman 2, two people got shot? Woman 1, I don't think two people got shot, but two ambulances came. One came from Harlem Hospital. Woman 2, it's probably those crack people. They say they'll do anything for that stuff. Woman 1, was he married? I didn't see no woman working in the store. Woman 2, that young Spanish boy? I don't think he married. Woman 1, no girl, he ain't the owner. The old man owned that place. I think he's from St. Kitts. Woman 2, oh, you know it's a shame. You know it is. LS. Steve makes his way through the crowd. He does not have the basketball. He is walking, then trots as the camera pulls back. He is running as camera looks from the high angle, and we can no longer distinguish Steve. We hear voiceover of women is above. Woman 1, I'd move away from here, but there's no place to go. I wouldn't live in California. Woman 2, California is a lot worse than Harlem. Woman 1, but they say the weather is nice. Camera pans down the street past playing kids in stores to a basketball that lies in the gutter. Cut to television news. The shot is grainy, the reception poor as if it is in the home of a ghetto resident. VO, newscaster. In New York's Harlem, yet another holdup has ended in a grisly scene of murder. Aguinaldo Nesbitt, a native of St. Kitts, was found shot and killed in his drugstore. Cut to television shot of front of drugstore. Small children are gathered around, trying to get a peek inside. Close up, newscaster. He is a handsome, light-skinned black who speaks with a precise television newscaster accent. Newscaster. Late yesterday afternoon, two armed and masked bandits rushed into this neighborhood drugstore behind me. They first demanded money, and when the store owner, 55-year-old Aguinaldo Nesbitt, was slow in handing over the money, viciously ended his life. Residents of the neighborhood are in absolute dismay. To neighborhood resident, sir, can you tell me just how shocked you are by this tragedy? Cut to neighborhood resident. Neighborhood resident, I ain't shocked. People getting killed and everything, and it ain't right, but I ain't shocked none. They killed a little girl just about 2 months ago, and she was just sitting on her stoop. Cut to Steve's apartment. We see him sitting and watching the news program. We see his brother pick up the remote and change the program. We watch 30 seconds of a Roadrunner cartoon. Cut to close-up of Steve. He is staring straight ahead, mouth open, in absolute shock as the reflected colors from the cartoon move across his face. Dissolve to 2 weeks later. Interior. Steve's kitchen. Door opens. Mrs. Harmon enters with a bag of groceries. She puts it down. Mrs. Harmon. Mrs. Lucas said they got those guys that killed the drugstore owner. She turns on television. You have anything to eat? Steve. I had some cereal. See if you can find the news. You think it's on the news? Mrs. Harmon is putting away the groceries when an image of the front of the drugstore appears on the screen. She sits down, obviously pleased that the culprits have been caught. Female newscaster. An arrest has been made in the robbery and murder in an uptown drugstore. The police announced today the arrest of Richard Evans, known in the community as Bobo. Mayor Rudy Giuliani says that he is determined to stop crime in all areas of the city. Cut to press conference with Mayor Giuliani and the police brass. Mayor Giuliani. The idea that we're just trying to stop crime in white or middle class areas is nonsense. Everyone living in the city deserves the same protection. Cut to exterior. MMS of a sullen Bobo handcuffed and being led to police van. He glowers at camera. Prisoner he is, handcuffed to, winks at camera. Cut to interior, Steve's bedroom. He's lying on his bed, eyes open but not seeing anything. We hear first the doorbell ring and then his mother calling him, but he doesn't react. Cut to Mrs. Harmon, who wipes her hands on a towel and heads toward door. She stops and looks through people, close up on her face. There is a worried look as she opens the door. Mrs. Harmon calls to him. Stephen? Steve. Yeah? He comes out and sees Detectives Williams and Carroll. Williams. We need you to come down to the precinct with us. Just a few questions. Steve. Me? About what? Williams. The clown said you were involved with that drugstore. Excuse me. Some clown said you were involved with that drugstore stick-up just before Christmas. You know the one I mean? Steve. Yeah, but what do I have to do with it? Williams, as they handcuff Steve. You know Bobo Evans? Mrs. Harmon. Why are you handcuffing my son if you just want to ask him a few questions? I don't understand. Williams. Ma'am, it's just routine. Don't worry about it. Mrs. Harmon. What do you mean don't worry about it when you're handcuffing my son? There's panic in her eyes as she looks at Steve, who looks away. What do you mean don't worry about it? I'm coming with you. You're not just snatching my son off like he's some kind of criminal. Wait till I get my coat. Just a minute. Just wait a minute. Cut to Jerry standing in doorway, holding comics. He looks from mother to Steve. He reaches out toward his brother as the detectives hustle the handcuffed teenager out the door. Cut to MS of Steve sitting in back of patrol car. Cut to two old men in front of John John's barbecue looking at the scene as the car drives off. Cut to long shot of Block engaged in normal activity. Then Mrs. Harmon rushes from house, looks desperately around, and moves quickly down the street. She gets almost to the corner and stops, realizing she doesn't know where Steve is being taken.